Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering. I'm actually on camera here for a change, and that is not Death and Taxes. We have a swamp into a Thoughtseize. Not sure if this is actually Matt. I apologize if that's not the case. I should be able to remember because of the motion picture playmat. But we've got a Thoughtseize going after a couple of Putrid Imps, a Stinkweed Imp, the Ox, and Cabal Therapy. Really no good picks there. I suppose you take the Cabal Therapy, as that will at least prevent double therapying, which could be good versus what I believe is a Tendrils deck. We'll see if it's actually Ant. And a Putrid Imp. Will this be fast enough? Do have the Cephalid Colosseum, so it's going to be dredging at least 20 cards on the next turn. It's worth noting that this dredge list doesn't have a combo kill, so no dread return and no real way of capitalizing on the massive board presence aside from repeated Cabal Therapy, so you can shred your opponent's hand and pass the turn with just a massive board presence. Also has Hagak and a couple of other little tricks in there, some main deck Ancient Grudge and some unusual choices, but overall, it does not have the explosive potential, certainly that a traditional combo deck might have. So a Narcomoeba coming in off of the Stinkweed Imp. That gets discarded again. And Cephalid Colosseum looks like it'll likely be... Oh, interesting. That can't be correct. Oh, it is. There we go. Breakthrough. That's a heck of a draw. Casting the Putrid Imp, I was like, what am I doing? But yeah, having a breakthrough here is absolutely insane. An extra black body for convoking Hagak is actually really relevant. And instead of, for example, doing a breakthrough with X equals 1, you're going to just be dredging cards anyways, so not a whole lot of value in holding on to like a dredger in your hand. Not like you're going to be drawing into a Lion's Eye Diamond and playing it, which could be useful. However, Narcomoebas adding to the board presence, and let's see how many Cabal Therapies and Bridges are going to be involved here. Cabal Therapy number 1. No blue mana to Brainstorm in response. A preordain was played on the previous turn. And Infernal Tutor along with Lion's Eye Diamond. Gotta go back in. Just seriously, no bridge tokens? Wow, no bridge tokens. So high cost Cabal Therapies. A Brainstorm, of absolutely savage top deck for Matt. That's probably one of the best things he could draw there. As long as the Brainstorm draws into gas, I mean, he could actually just win on the spot despite having no prospects in his hand. I mean, he does have some fast mana, which means a card like Ad Nauseam, even Past in Flames, could become very, very dangerous. And Dredge really doesn't have anything to say about anything that your opponent's going to be doing, aside from, of course, going after their hand with discard. There are builds that are able to support counter magic. Mostly in Vintage. I actually really enjoy those when you're running Force of Will, Force of Negation, Force of Vigor. A lot of free spells, Unmask. You don't really need much of a mana base when you can run Bazaar Baghdad. Icarids coming in. And now Cephalid Colosseum. Probably was supposed to use Cephalid Colosseum prior to returning the Icarids. Probably not a massive inaccuracy there. But as a general rule, you're going to dredge before bringing back your Icarids, giving you the highest, the best options for which creatures to remove. In a lot of scenarios, it's not actually going to matter. Ancient Grudge found can potentially interact with Lion's Eye Diamond. This far into the game, literally have to stop dredging, or else we'll be running out of... We'll be checking for bridges. Doesn't seem like a whole lot of bridges. And certainly have Threshold, though. So those Putrid Imps actually coming in for 2. Practically a Delver of Secrets, leaving Matt at just 4 life. And now a Cabal Therapy. Getting all 4 zombies. And be able to take a shot at Matt's hand. It's got the Lion's Eye Diamond. Oh, but double Cabal Ritual. Is there another therapy available? Hagak is coming out. May just be overkill. I mean, Matt is very dead next turn either way. Though Hagak is actually pretty reasonable. I suppose there are some Empty the Warren lines depending on the build that you want to be able to trample over. Yikes, it is a live one. 2 Cabal therapies, 2 Cabal rituals in hand, and Matt is shuffling with 3 life left. I mean, this is going to be at the mercy of a top deck. As a control player, you kind of want to have a force of will here, knowing that no matter what they draw, they can't get there. Oh, it's a preordain. If he keeps, that'll be it. No, he doesn't. He draws a random card. He's got access to, like, 8 black mana. What do we have here? Infernal Tutor would be lethal. A Storm of 3. And... oh, but he doesn't have the red. What does he have to grab? Ad nauseum? Yeah, he's got to grab ad nauseum. Unless I'm miscounting on the mana. Maybe the first Cabal ritual was not with Threshold. So Infernal. No. Okay, yeah, just tendrils-ing here. I think you gotta... yeah, you've actually got a really small percentage chance to win that game. It looks like you have to grab a ad nauseum, and you're gonna really need to hit Lotus Petals. Land, I mean, you gotta hit your land drop for the turn as well. Maybe some more 0 casting costs, LEDs, and you've only got 3 life to play with, so you actually need to hit a Infernal Tutor or perhaps a cantrip or 2, and that's kind of the best case scenario there. I think those, I mean, it's got to be way less than 5% chance to win that game, but there was a chance, and the Tendrils does not actually get there, so Matt just kind of showcasing the Infernal Tutor for Infernal Tutor line, which is often missed. I mean, people sometimes miss out on that additional storm that's potential, particularly in the face of graveyard hate. Like, I will say that I've seen people go for a Past in Flames kill with plenty of mana and not enough storm because they didn't see the fact that you could go ahead and get an Infernal for an Infernal for an Infernal for a Tendrils, for example, or even for an Empty, depending on the deck, to bypass the graveyard hate, which is often the only axis that decks can kind of battle against you, like a Turbo Depths style deck that has Bojuka Bog. That is absolutely a blowout when you go for Past in Flames, but, you know, if you're able to just use the Infernal plan, there's nothing they can really do about it. All right, sideboarding is done. Took the break to sell a modern deck list. One of our favorite customers came in. Picking up stuff for control in Modern. Be nice to run Modern Opens once we get back to playing in-store. For now, all of our events are over webcam. That's Wednesdays and Fridays we're doing Legacy. Some Saturdays we do Commander. And of course our release events and pre-release events as well. So Strixhaven will be doing a pre-release. Faithless Looting, leading out for Dredge. Will that be enough? Especially on the draw. Ad Nauseam, known for its first and second turn kills, and we might see it here. Got a Dark Ritual. Into a Cabal Ritual, so just one black off of that, mercifully. Cabal Ritual, really, I think one of the strongest cards in a Storm Shell. The ability to provide just so much value. +3 mana is like a Black Lotus. And now we have Ad Nauseam, exact mana. A rare case where Rite of Flame actually would have been better than Cabal Ritual. I'll acknowledge that. Would have went to 4 red and 3 black. Of course, both lands would have needed to be used. So I guess maybe it's not necessarily better, because maybe you end up needing that other mana in some other capacity. Matt stopping there. And an Ad Nauseam from full or close to full life, generally going to be lethal. Just an incredibly potent magic card. It's funny when Commander players like cards like that, because they're like, oh, you start with 40 life, so it's good. It's like, believe me, it's good when you start at 20. Same with Ancient Tomb, Force of Will, Mana Crypt. It is kind of adorable when Commander players make that claim. I mean, they're not wrong. And Lotus Petals and Lion's Eye Diamonds just accumulating. And at this point, it is all over. Infernal Tutor, cracking LED, and this should be more than enough. Oh no. This is not necessary. Is this going to run into a Surgical or Fairy Macabre? Past in Flame. So Tendrils should have been grabbed there, I believe, unless it got discarded to the Lion's Eye Diamond, which wouldn't make any sense. So, yeah, this is super dangerous. Infernal Tutor going to go grab that Tendrils. So no Fairy Macabre or Surgical, but that was, yikes. The shields were down. That could have been a Death Star moment there, just that exhaust port. Could have seen... What are they, photon missiles? I don't know. Let me know. I don't actually like Star Wars very much. Let me know in the comments what Luke actually shoots into the Death Star. And why it's not photon missiles or whatever I'm thinking it is. So Matt picking up that game. On to the third game. Dredge will have the play. What do you do when your opponent kills you on the second turn in Legacy? You mulligan to 4. And lead out with a Gemstone Mine into a Putrid Imp. So 2 cards left in hand. Dredge mulligans fairly well. Oh no, no Dredger. Sending for 1. What a disaster. I actually don't recall this game. What an absolute mess. No Dredgers, actually drawing for turn, continuing to find no Dredgers. What on earth are those other cards? Breakthrough, X equals 1. And no Dredger to discard prior to the breakthrough. Yikes. So 4 cards being drawn. I feel like I should remember this. I feel like I should have been traumatized by this game. This is a complete disaster. Putrid Imp getting wings at this point? Or getting bigger. You get wings by discarding cards, but he gets that threshold +1/+1. Which, I mean, maybe Matt's stumbling here as well. He's got a Brainstorm. No shuffle effect as of yet. Brainstorm, a card that we actually played in the very earliest builds of Dredge. I'm talking about back in just like Ravnica. Because we had Icarid, Ashen Ghoul. Oh, look at that. The island and Volcanic Island getting a little bit of video picked up on it there. The green must be close enough to the green screen mat. It's a pretty neat effect. Cephalid Coliseum. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's Threshold at this point. If not, Gemstone Mine may be able to contribute its extra card to the cause. And still no Dredgers. Icarid, though. That's something. I guess probably not a ton of black creatures in there, given that there's no Dredgers. Perhaps a Street Wraith or other Putrid Imp. Icarid. Oh, a Fairy Macabre. I actually kind of like that card in Dredge. I don't know if it's good enough, but the fact that it's an extra body does help a little bit. Oh, Chain of Vapor. Bouncing Icarid. And now a Faithless Looting. So Icarid going to end up back in the graveyard, along with a Mana Confluence. Still no Dredgers. Not exactly how I'd hope to show up on camera here. I don't get to play very often anymore. I'd hope for a little bit more of a spectacular game, but instead, Putrid Imp has been turning sideways, going after Matt's life total, and Matt is also, oh wow, just nothing going on here. Still no Dredgers. That looked like a Putrid Imp and a Faithless Looting. Cephalid Coliseum's going to enable 3 more draws. I mean, if there's a Dredger that gets drawn, it can be discarded, and Cephalid Coliseum could really make something happen. But so far, Matt also not really able to do very much. He's had the Chain of Vapor, which would potentially be useful versus Hate. Ended up needing to be used just to slow down an Icarid attack, and now a Dark Ritual in a Lion's Eye Diamond. Is this going to be it? Cabal Ritual. Lion's Eye Diamond. Really interesting that you don't have to tap the card to sack it. It's easy to get confused with Black Lotus. I think I've actually done that on the channel before, thinking that you have to tap and sacrifice. That is not the case. You just sack that thing. So with Urza, for example, you can tap it for blue and then sack it. A Veil of Summer. So Matt suspicious of the struggling on the other side of the board. And now a Infernal Tutor. Cracking LED. And that should technically be on the stack. I believe he's searching his library now. That doesn't feel lethal yet. Let's see what he's going to be able to grab. Typically, Infernal Tutor is going to be grabbing Tendrils when the conditions are right for it to be lethal. Empty the Warrens if that's not the case, or pass in Flames or Ad Nauseam if you're really, really far off. Matt's life total has at least been beat up a little bit. We've got Infernal for Infertile. What is his plan here? Is he just going to go pump things up and empty? Yeah, he's going to get an extra Storm in there and then empty. We'll see if this ends up being the correct line. And Nauseam from 12, significantly worse than Ad Nauseam from 20. You can, especially post-sideboard, your mana cost potentially changes if you're bringing in like Assassin's Trophies and stuff. It really depends. So it looks like a whole bunch of Gobos, but a lot of Magic left to play. That'll be at least 2 turns worth of attacking. And a Cephalid Coliseum, still no Dredgers. Gonna go ahead and, oh, finally, there we go. So during the upkeep, activating Coliseum and a draw step, getting the Golgari Grave Troll, seeing a Narcomoeba. Thank goodness, finally. And it looks like 2 black creatures being used to bring out Hagak. This is awkward. What is that, 12 zombies on the other side of the board? This is just a single bridge. Okay, so a couple of bridges. So, Trample from Hagak. Narcomoeba can cash in. I mean, this looks winning for Dredge. If that's only 12 zombies. Yeah, if that's only 12 zombies, I mean, 4 of them get blocked. Looks like Matt's trying to consider how many to send in. But he's facing down with the Icarids. I think it's more than lethal. Yeah. Yeah, if he has no blockers, he is dead to the Crackback very easily. Yeah, I mean, he's at 12, so, I mean, Hagak plus the zombies alone, you still have Putrid Imp, Narcomoeba, and Icarids to contend with. And he sends... I mean, if that's just 4, I mean, everything's just going to get blocked. Narcomoeba's going to turn into some more zombies. And the bridges go away, but there's still a couple more in there. Oh, so 8 zombies... 8 goblins were sent. And yeah, I don't think this is going to work out at all. Yeah, the trample on Hagak just makes him an absolute nightmare. So, zombie tokens. Are going to be potentially chump. I mean, this is just, we'll just see how it plays out, but I don't think there's any kind of winning line here for Matt. Perhaps considering the life totals. I'm not sure what that adjustment was for, but I mean, this is probably going to be it. Matt's tapped out. He's facing down a lot of damage. The Crackback's not going to be lethal. I suppose there could be like a Tendrils involved. So push through some damage with some goblins and then do a Tendrils to finish off the remaining life. But that's if he can even survive. I mean, I suppose he can do that. Losing his whole team. Oh, maybe he can't even do that. Holy cow. Yeah, that's 10 with the Putrid Imp. Oh, I may have miscounted. I mean, Putrid Imp is a 2/2. But Matt's going to have one more draw step, and it does not bail him out. So that is going to do it. Kind of a ugly, drawn-out game, but Dredge takes the long way around and manages to get there versus probably one of its tougher matchups. I mean, Ant is way faster when things are going well, but I guess when it's a train wreck, just whoever crawls over the finish line first wins. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.